It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Torico on the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stores are watching this Wednesday, April 15. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has accepted the courtesy resignation of National Security Advisor Eduardo Año. The palace says Año is retiring from public service after decades in the military and government, citing health reasons and long years in office. Former AFP Chief of Staff Eduardo Oban Jr. has been named his successor.
The President has accepted the resignation of National Security Advisor Eduardo Año. Secretary Año has decided to retire from public service after decades of continuous service in government and the military. We thank Secretary Año for his dedicated and distinguished service to the Filipino people. As National Security Advisor, he played a key role in strengthening our national security framework, advancing our counterterrorism and internal security efforts, and ensuring close coordination across the security sector during a period of evolving regional and global challenges. His leadership has helped maintain stability and protect the welfare of our citizens. The President has appointed Eduardo Oban Jr. as his successor. Secretary Oban is a former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and a graduate of Philippine Military Academy class of 1979. He has extensive experience in military operations, defense planning, and national security, having also served as Deputy Chief of Staff for Plans, J5, and head of the Visiting Forces Agreement Commission. With this depth of experience, the President is confident that Secretary Oban will provide steady and capable leadership in advancing the country's national security priorities and ensuring continuity in the government's efforts to keep the nation safe and secure.
Meantime, VP Sara Duterte, in her first public statement since the testimony of her alleged bagman, Ramil Madriaga, pushed back against claims on her academic performance. Duterte, however, did not address allegations of a reported plan to unseat President Bongbong Marcos. Duterte said she finished her studies through her own efforts and did not request any special favors from professors. She also denied any complaints regarding misconduct or violence during her time in law school. A recent Okta research survey found that 69% of Filipinos believe that VP Sara Duterte should face an impeachment trial. The poll showed 28% disagreed, while 3% were undecided. 87% of respondents also said they were aware of the impeachment complaints filed against Duterte. The survey, conducted from March 19 to 25, 2026, through face-to-face interviews with 1,200 adults. It has a plus-minus 3% margin of error at a 95% confidence level. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, now expects Philippine growth to slow this year, citing the impact of Middle East tensions and weaker public spending. The IMF has slashed its 2026 growth forecast to 4.1% from 5.6% in January. This is below the government's 5 to 6% target and slower than the 4.4% expansion in 2025. The fund also lowered its global growth forecast to 3.1% in 2026 from 3% in January, citing disruptions from the US-Iran conflict and energy supply shocks. Okay, joining us in a little bit will be our resident political pundit, Tito Ronald Llamas, and also joining us also in a bit, Storycon's host, Regina Lay, who will be joining us via Zoom. But we now have Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief, Ms. Ami Pamintuan.
Hi Ed, hi everybody.
Oh,
Medyo happy Wednesday.
Parang iba kulay mo ngayon.
Oo nga, hindi ba para ako may jaundice?
Oh, hindi naman jaundice. Ano ba? Hindi nga eh. You're...
Ano kulay? Hindi ko, baka iba to screen. Ito, damit.
Oh, it's we seldom see you in black and white. You're
Summer.
usually in pastels or striking red
Oo
and
nga
yellow
eh.
colors. Di ba?
Kasi puro black and white yung nasa likod ko, no?
Parang nansekitur yun.
Para magkaroon naman ng contrast. Hindi, para magkaroon ng contrast.
Oh, sige,
Di ba?
sige. So you dress...
Kala ko yun, kasi yung isa screen, parang madilaw ako eh. Kala ko yun
Ay,
yung
hindi naman.
tinuturo
Okay
mo.
ka naman. Okay naman sa screen.
Oo.
So you're telling us you
Kasi
dress...
puro black and white to.
sige.
Para may contrast, di ba? Kayo, blue yung background nyo eh. Okay lang sa inyo black and white.
Tanda mo nung unang panahon, nung bago-bago pa yung mga computer monitor, pag meron kang paper white monitor, iba ang dating mo. Tanda mo yung paper white monitor? Di ba? Kasi nung una, it was green monitor. Yung gumaganon-ganon pa. Tapos sakit
Hindi
sa
ko na
mata eh.
matandaan yun.
Ano ka ba?
Ayaw ko mag-computer kasi nung bago eh.
Well, nung una, sorry. Yung Apple kasi nung una lumabas yung Apple, it was also paper white I think eh. Pero yung mga PCs, green siya na gumagano'n.
Hindi ako kasi nag-PC kahit kailan eh.
Typewriter ka lang gano'n.
Hindi, from the start Apple kami.
Okay.
Hindi ako nag-PC.
And
Hindi ako
then,
nag-transition from PC.
and then nauso yung paper white, as they would call it.
Ah.
Okay. Ami, what's your big story today?
Apart from yung mga nabanggit mo nga, may konting good news ako kaya sabi ko
Ano?
medyo
Sige
happy
nga.
Wednesday.
Sige.
Next week daw, baka magkaroon na naman ng oil price rollback according to Secretary Garin.
Pero Wednesday pa lang
Ayan
eh.
kasi medyo nag-i-improve yung yung sitwasyon yata doon kasi sabi ni Trump, ma-revive yung talks with Iran as Israel is talking with Lebanon. At saka yung blockade yun ng Iran eh. May na-interdict daw yung yung isang US na dalawang oil tanker leaving Iran. Kaya yung Iran lang ang binablock nila.
So, baka may effect
Kaya-
yung healing powers ni Donald Trump sa mga ekonomiya.
Oo nga naman.
Ganun ba? Ikaw, Regina, ikaw anong tingin mo doon? May effect ba yung healing powers ni Trump sa ating mga oil
Ayan,
prices?
Reg, ako meron na akong contribution ko sa glass half full.
Ed, you didn't just say that. If you just say that, as a Catholic, I take offense
To what? The healing powers?
Bumuwelta na.
to the healing powers, talaga. And
Sabi niya,
and he denies that.
Sabi niya, he's a healer. He construes himself as a doctor
Oo
in
nga,
that AI
doktor daw
image.
siya, doktor.
Because he heals daw a lot of people. We're quoting him. Ano ba? We're quoting him.
Oo nga, siya nagsabi.
Siya nagsabi na he's a healer.
You know,
he has healed a lot of
our-
people.
Yes, but our job is not just to quote people, but to call them out when it's outlandish. Hindi ba? He was clearly being depicted as Jesus there. I don't think there's any other explanation for it. And it is also true that they're having a serious word war with the Vatican right now, with the Pope. That that even J.D. Vance is saying that is interfering in affairs, and they should just stick to affairs, matters of morality. Isn't war a matter of morality? Even isn't killing people a matter of morality? I don't know. I'm just asking, but di ba? So I don't know.
Ikaw, Reg, tropa ka ng fake news, Reg, sabi ni Trump. He never claimed daw to be Jesus Christ. Yan, kaya kasama ka nung tropang fake news. Siya sinake down na niya yung post niyang yan eh.
Which a lot of people save, and people are saying that the sick man looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
Well,
Tropa na fake news.
ang sabi nga niya, he really is a healer, and baka nga yung doctor as well. So baka yung ilaw coming from his hands. Mali mo flashlight yun. Open your mouth. May ganon.
May flashlight sa nahawak niya.
Pareho pang kamay. Di ba? Okay.
Pero tinake down na niya,
what-
nagreklamo yung niya eh. yung Christian constituency niya nagreklamo, malakas ang
Yes.
pushback sa US.
Also
Yes,
the Catholic,
exactly.
the Catholic
Clarify.
constituency, not just the evangelical, but the Catholics as well.
Catholic lang. Kaya ganon. Pero, ayun na nga, tuloy-tuloy away nila ni Pope. Hindi siya urungan ni Pope.
Well, the Pope naman is not fighting him eh. So-
Sinabi niya, I'm not afraid of Trump.
But the Pope is not fighting him, not in the same way that Trump
Yeah.
is
Oo nga.
lashing out. Magkaiba sila.
Oo nga. Ayan,
So, yun.
I'm a doctor, not Jesus.
There you go. There you go. Hindi lang yan. He elaborated pa. He's a healer daw. May ibang quote pa yan eh. Iba pang quote yan.
Mhm. Do I look like I was born yesterday? It's one of those imageries na mabilis lang makuha kagad yung context, yung meaning, I mean,
Oo
look at the outfit, for example. Although this is obviously a mishmash of different things, I don't know what he wanted to convey here. Pero yung ano pa lang, yung the act of healing with the hands and also the outfit, and I don't know, just so yeah.
Oh, what, you've never seen a doctor wear an outfit like that?
Ganyan mga istampita ko, ha?
na-
Di ba yung binibenta?
Stampita. Ami,
Talaga, di ba?
Ani?
Yung mga istampita.
Ami,
Tanongin mo si Father Flavie Villanueva, nandun siya sa Catholic trade. Ganyan yung mga
Ami,
binibenta
alam mo,
doon ng mga
maraming tao di na alam ko na ibig sabihin ng stampita. Ipaliwanag mo.
Yung ganon, yung mga
Hindi ganyan kalaki
yung binibenta.
stampita.
Hanggang ngayon nagbebenta
Hindi ganyan
nun.
kalaki stampita ko noon. Stampita ganyan kalaki.
Hanggang ngayon.
hindi
Kaya,
ga-
hindi ganon. Yung ganon.
Parang
Hanggang
iPad
ngayon
naman
may
yung pinapakita.
nagbebenta pa nun. Kayo naman. Hanggang ngayon meron pang binibenta nun.
Kaya nga
nawala tuloy si Red.
stampita
So,
kasi
nag-bullshit
maliit
sa'yo.
siya. Stampita maliit. Ganyan kalaki lang. Para lang yan, maliit pa nga sa index cards yung
Oo
stampita
nga,
eh.
yun na nga. Kaya nga, ganyan yung mga image nun.
Usually,
diba?
madalas ginagawa pang bookmark yan. Tapos may mga scripture
Kaya
sayings
nga.
yan. Stampita talaga.
Oo,
diba?
nga. Hanggang ngayon naman, may mga ganun pa. Punta kayo sa Catholic Trade, nandun sa Tayuman Street, Manila. May mabibili pa rin.
Talagang may hugot ka pang
Yeah.
ganun na. Okay. Sige. So Ami, what else are your stories today? Aside from your one, what was your good news again? Baka bumaba yung presyo next week.
Hindi baka. Sinabi niya na bababa next week, most likely again. Most likely. Yeah.
Okay. But
Tapos
we're only on
yung-
Wednesday, We're only on Wednesday. So we have today,
We're
tomorrow,
only on
and the day
Wednesday, kaya
after.
next week yan. Hindi, every Tuesday siya nag-adjust, di ba?
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Based on the
So,
5-day work
by
week.
next Tuesday, we can expect again, saka yun na nga, magkakaroon ng 10 peso fuel subsidy, diesel subsidy sa ilang selected lang naman na gas stations participating. So, ewan ko I'm trying to, sabi, umpisahan natin yung program, good news di ba? At least yan, diretso, pag gasolina nila, may discount kagad. Hindi ka pareho ng fuel subsidy. Nakita niyo ba yung linya dun sa Quezon Memorial Circle kahapon? Nakita niyo, naglo-loop around the circle, nakatayo mga tao, walang upuan, walang payong, and you're all waiting there for your 5,000 pesos. Yun yung mga tricycle driver.
Okay.
Ayan, nabadya
Ito pa rin
na
yung
tayo.
original 5,000 peso subsidy, Ami.
Yeah.
The
This is
first
for the
stretch?
tricycle drivers. In-expand nila sa tricycle drivers. But look at that image of them. That's a very wide circle.
Oh my goodness.
Naghihintay ka doon in the heat. Hindi ka pwedeng hindi
Oo.
pwedeng meron lang makipila for you. Walang
Yeah,
payong, walang upuan.
Not to mention April 15 na. It's 5 weeks into the war. They're only getting their subsidy now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is what I
ngayon
was
lang.
saying about. This is what I was saying about yung excise tax suspension debate, which is that.
Wala na.
Yes, I
Goodbye
get
na
it.
excise tax natin.
Yun na nga, pag sinuspend mo yung excise tax, I get it. It will destroy your future budget, even the budget for this year. Kasi, you're taking a lot of money out. But at the same time, the system is so imperfect that yung targeted subsidies, hanggang ngayon, they're still handing them out mano-mano. Right?
Saka
We
tingnan mo
don't
yung
have a
pila.
national ID system Look, and they wasted a whole day lining up for that 5,000 peso
Yeah.
subsidy.
Yeah,
And,
if you're
you
a
know,
wage earner, wala ka nang kita, di ba?
Tsaka they week 5 weeks into the war na tayo. Day 44, I think today, or 45, I can't remember. The point
Yeah.
is that,
February 28.
you have to do what you can to bring some relief. So
Yeah.
because it's such an imperfect system, baka makatulong din yung suspension or reduction of excise tax on gas and
Yeah.
diesel. In the press
Yeah.
release that the DOF sent, si Secretary Go was talking about being fiscally responsible. And honestly, naiintindihan ko yung point niya. I get why they want to be fiscally
Windfall lang naman
responsible.
yan eh.
Yes,
It's a
but at the same,
windfall.
I don't know that this is a time to be fiscally responsible when so many
Yeah.
people are suffering, di ba? And yun nga, yung original 5,000 peso hanggang ngayon, unti-unti pa rin, mano-mano pa rin yung distribution.
I mean, yung windfall was
Saka
with regard to VAT. Kasi yung VAT
Sa
may
VAT,
windfall
sa VAT.
because it's a percentage of the value.
Pero Ed, kahit siyang excise tax, 6 times 30 yung full tank ng diesel ng jeep eh. 6 times 30, malaki-laki din yun. 180. Ilang beses sila nagpapakarga. Di lang naman once a week yung mga yan eh. Malaki din siya eh. Saka napakadali. You don't have to line up. Saka mag-accumulate siya eh. Hindi lang naman mga jeepney
Yes.
driver gumagamit yan, yung mga nagdi-deliver. May impact yun sa presyo ng mga pagkain natin and everything.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
there's two sides. And I feel like we've been pretty balanced in terms of arguing both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
Ito nga, the problem with crises, the problem with economic issues is there are no easy answers. Wala naman talaga yung, you go one way and that's the solution. There's always going to be trade-offs. So, yun na nga. But with excise taxes, I think it's about time, no? Except Malacanang has already spoken about it and they're not going to suspend or reduce excise taxes on
Kaya
diesel.
nga, para
which
kita tayo
will-
para kayo yung batas na pinasa.
Yeah, so LPG lang, sa kerosene in-apply.
Kaya
Yeah.
nga, para saan
Well-
pa yun, na ano lang tayo, sabi nila, tawag nila, nakumag daw tayo kung kunyari may ginagawa.
Well, but also look at it from the other point of view. You're at a particular time when prices seem to be about to go down or potentially could go down lower compared to the last 2 weeks. We've seen a major cut in this week and possibly another cut next week. So,
Ang
baka
laki-laki
kaya
pa
rin
rin
sila...
nun, Ed,
Yeah, pero baka kaya sila tumatansya-tansya ngayon kung is this the right time for them to slice or to suspend entirely
Ed,
the excise
when is
taxes?
the right time? Nung medyo mababa pa yung presyo, naghihingi
Yeah.
tayo ng excise tax cut, magiging significant sana yung amount, no? Kapag kinumpute mo kung magkano. Ngayon namang sobrang laki, sasabihin nila, konting-konti lang naman yung mababawas dyan. Ano ba, saan tayo pupunta?
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah, we've been debating this
You
issue
just
for
have to
5
do
weeks now. 5 weeks.
Oh.
5 weeks.
Kaya nga, talaga ayaw lang
and-
ibigay.
And alam ko yung sinasabi mo, Ed, about tinatansya o baka bababa na rin naman. Looks like we're on a downtrend. But I mean, in any crisis, that's not a strategy, I have to say. Hindi
Yeah.
pwedeng, let's just see how it goes. Which is a favorite line of some of the politicians we've spoken to. Let's just monitor and see how it goes. That's not a strategy. Kahit pa ibaba mo yung presyo ngayon, and there's a radical idea of, narinig na ako from the Makabayan block, of putting a price cap on diesel right now.
70
Tapos the
pesos.
government will subsidize the rest of it. All of these are temporary relief measures. No one is saying it's going to be like that forever, diba? It's just in this time of crisis, you have to approach it
Kaya
from
nga.
many different angles. Yung ibang bansa nagsuspend na ng mga excise taxes,
Yeah.
and on top of targeted subsidies and everything. And I don't buy the idea that if you suspend taxes on diesel and gasoline, hindi indirectly daw yung mararamdaman ng mga poorest households. I don't think so, because without transport costs, without diesel feeds into everything, food, water,
Yeah.
everything, diba?
Everything.
So
Pati sa fishermen. Yan ang gamit ng mga
Lahat.
fishing boat.
lahat.
Oh.
Diesel feeds into everything. So there was a line in the press release saying that even if you and President Marcos himself said this, even if you suspend taxes on diesel and gasoline, indirectly daw. That's the reason pinili nila yung LPG and kerosene kasi directly feeding into the household daw yon. And I disagree.
Magkano lang yung LPG ha? Kinumpute na nila 37 daw per tank. Ang tangke ng
37.
LPG from pre-Iran was 1,000 pesos per tangke. Ngayon 1,500 na. Ano
Ouch.
37 pesos na yon? Yeah.
Because it's times 11.
Kaya nga, kung inumpisahan nila yun nun, at least meron kang ano eh. Kaya lang ewan ko. Anyway, magkakaroon to ng fallout. Siguro yung baka tablan sila pag sinabi sa kanila yon. There will be a political fallout. Matatandaan ng mga tao yung pagdurusang yan eh. Itong pagdurusa na to, which is affecting all livelihoods. Maraming mga hindi makapagtrabaho, hindi makapangisda, hindi makapagtinda.
And by the way, kailangan natin din i-compute at some point yung windfall nila from the VAT ha. Because VAT
it's
is
huge.
12%. So 12% of all the imports of fuel, we have to compare that. We have to crunch the numbers at some point and ask the government for the latest numbers. Hindi ko lang alam if ibigay nila sa atin. But this is worth, I can imagine it's worth it's something in the tens of billions of pesos.
Yeah.
Itong windfall from this crisis kasi mahal yung presyo ng oil sa global markets. Pag in-import, syempre kakalculate mo yung 12% on top of it, right? So
Saka saan pupunta siya? Di ba?
Kung saan siya
That's
pupunta.
unprogrammed. Hindi siya kasama sa computation ng national budget for this year. Saan siya
Exactly.
pupunta?
Umamin naman si
windfall
BBM na may windfall from VAT eh. I did a quick and
Kaya nga,
dirty
umamin
calculation the other day. Mababa na yung times 2 ang increase dun sa collection dun sa VAT for diesel. Possibly up to almost times 3 eh. Kasi, but quick and dirty lang. For example, kung dati more or less mga 60 pesos per liter ang diesel, i-VAT mo yan ng 12%, mga 6 pesos yan per liter. Now, mga nasa 170, at least before
Exactly.
mag-decrease kahapon, nasa 170. So, mga nasa 20 ang 12% noon. So, from 6 pesos per liter to 20 pesos, of course. That's a very, very rough number, but you can see the ratios.
Kaya nga. Ay, ang hirap-hirap i-depensa dito yan no, sa mga tao na naghihirap sa gasolina. Sasabihin mo, hindi, kailangan namin ng taxes. We have to hold on to the taxes. Tatanungin ng tao, saan yung ba ginagastos yung taxes namin? Considering everything that's happened in the past months, yan ang tanong ng mga tao. Saan nyo ba dinadala ang taxes namin? Where do our taxes go? O sige.
Yeah.
Medyo
That's the problem.
indefensible yan eh, no?
Yeah. That's the problem with talking about fiscal responsibility when we just came off a huge flood control scandal. Kung saan nalaman
haven't
natin
even
na
resolved it,
the government wasted hundreds of billions, if not trillions of our pesos, of our money, of our taxes.
Kaya nga.
Diba? So it's hard to, mahirap i-digest, mahirap lulukin yung, we're being fiscally responsible, but at the same time, we've lost so much money in corruption and hindi pa nare-resolve siya. Diba?
Okay.
Saka yung
Wala pang
ngayon, tax
ladies.
payment month ngayon.
Ladies, let's bring in our first guest
yung
for...
estate tax.
Yeah, Bok, let's bring in our first guest for today. He's ready on the line. We have this afternoon retired Air Force General Romeo Poquez. Magandang hapon, sir, and welcome to Storycon. Welcome back to Storycon.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Hi.
Salamat sa pag-atin.
Well, sir, are you part of the Rage group that was launched ng weekend?
Hindi kasama yung United People's Initiative doon dahil political exercise yun eh. Hindi kami sumasama pagka ganun politika.
So you deliberately opted to not join the Rage group?
That's correct.
Okay. Why is that, sir? I thought
Di ba
your political line
hindi
with
ba
them.
UPI is also a political initiative, di ba? Sumali po kayo sa mga ibang rallies. I think that was last year, no?
Ganito, no? UPI is a movement with various advocacies. Among them, of course, itong corruption and accountability. So dahil ang nag-organize itong Rage Coalition ay PDP Laban as a political party. So we opted not to join para hindi kami maano ng partisan politics kasi it's against our principle.
Yes, sir. I understand, sir. But I thought kasi that you were politically aligned with them to begin with. So you're saying you're not politically aligned with these groups that are part of Rage?
We're allies in fact with PDP Laban, pero doon lang kami sa issue ng korupsyon at saka itong high oil prices. Pero doon kasi sa politika, hindi kami kasama doon.
Okay, sige, sir.
Sige, related dito sa oil prices, General. Ano po yung mga activities ngayon ng movement nyo or any advocacies that you're pushing in particular dito konektado sa nangyayari ngayon sa gasolina? Ganito, kami ngayon dito, nakikipagtulungan kami, nakikisama at nakikisa kami ngayon dito sa Liwasang Bonifacio, dito sa ginaganap ng mga taga Batangas sa pinangungunahan ni Congressman Leandro Leviste. Nag-rally dito, mapayapang rally para ipahayag sa gobyerno na aksyonan ang napakataas na presyo ng ating mga langis at iba pang mga bilihin. So kasama po tayo yan ngayon.
Sir, and your proposal
Ano
is
po
to do
yung
what?
you're pushing VAT? I understand Congressman Leviste is pushing for the suspension of the VAT. Sinusuportahan niyo po yun?
Yes. Yeah, sinusuportahan namin yon. In fact, hindi lamang yon ang gusto namin sa United People's Initiative, hindi lamang yung VAT, pati excise tax, pati yung talagang pakialaman ng gobyerno. Ang mga oil companies, tignan talaga, busisiin yung kanilang mga acquisition cost ng mga oil na yan, tapos yung kanilang selling prices para talaga kita natin hindi naman pala itong mga oil companies yun, among others. Yun ang ginagawa na gusto namin sana.
Ang sabi po ng Pangulo, sabi ng Pangulo, hindi nila gustong tanggalin yung VAT dahil kumikita yung gobyerno ng windfall na maaari daw gamitin para doon sa ibang programa para tulungan yung nangangailangan. Ano hong pananaw ninyo doon sa kanyang argumentong yun?
Of course, as much as possible, ayaw nilang bitawan yan dahil nga windfall nga yun, di ba? Malaki ang kinikita nila dyan sa taxes na yan. Pero again, karapatan ng gobyerno to find other means to support the projects of government. Kasi ito yung directly kasi na makakatulong sa ating mga mamamayan yung pagtanggal ng mga taxes na yan. Malaking kinikita ng gobyerno pero kung hindi yan kinikita tanggalin yung mga taxes na yan. At least temporarily during this crisis.
What other initiatives do you guys want to see? Does your group want to see, General?
Yung ngayon, as I was saying, yung aming advocacy dito sa yung accountability at saka transparency at saka dito ngayon, dito sa oil crisis na ito kasi hindi lamang, of course, oil ang mataas ang presyo, pati lahat ng bilihin. Yung mga magkain, mga serbisyo, at iba pa. So, aksyonan ng gobyerno ito. Lagay ang panukala ang gobyerno ng national emergency, energy emergency, pero kulang ang aksyon na yon kasi nga hindi naman nila na-control, hindi naman nila napababa yung presyo Dapat talagang napababa ang presyo.
No, General, I meant to say mukhang nagdesisyon na yung Malacanang in terms of excise taxes on diesel and fuel, no? And the decision is that they are not going to suspend it. So, let's assume na hopeless na yun, wala na pag-asa yun na mabalik. Ano pa pong mga suggestions ninyo? I mean, you're a retired general. I'm sure, for example, you know how the oil companies work and where else in the supply chain we can cut down the costs.
Yes, kaya nga sinasabi natin hindi lamang yung pagbaba o pagtanggal ng mga excise or other taxes, the VAT for example, kundi tingnan nila yung profit margins nitong mga oil companies. Kasi nga, very glaring naman yun eh. Sinasabi ng gobyerno na 60 days ang inventory, stock level natin bago yung crisis na yung Middle East crisis na yan. Pero ilang araw pa lang nag-shoot up na, napakataas na kaagad ang presyo ng langis natin. Samantalang itong old stock na mga oil na ito ay bibili na mas mura. Nga, so meron nananamantala talaga ng mga oil companies.
Sir, dako ko ng ibang topic naman. Anong tingin niyo sa nangyari kahapon doon sa hearing sa impeachment case against VP Sara Duterte? Yung pag-appear ni Ramil Madriaga at kanyang mga testimonya?
Hindi kami kasama doon eh. Hindi namin pinapakialaman yung impeachment yan dahil political exercise yan eh. Nandun kami sa Liwasang Bonifacio kahapon. Nakisama doon sa protest rally na yon about itong oil prices. So yung mga impeachment, napakialaman yon.
Well, sir, hindi naman sa pakikialam, pero as citizens and as concerned citizens, I suppose that you also have a point of view there. Hindi naman po kailangan na humihiwalay kayo. But actually, sir, I find that interesting kasi in particular, you're very specific na ayaw niyong sumausaw sa politika, even though that's your right. And I suppose in many ways, it's also your responsibility.
Correct. Hindi, ganito, just to be clear, yung aming samahan, yung aming movement, yung aming United People's Initiative ay isang political organization.
Yes, sir.
Aggregation, asosasyon ng mga tao ito Pero ang sinasabi namin, hindi kami sumasama doon sa partisan political exercises. Okay? We're a political organization, pero hindi kami sumasawsaw doon sa mga partisan political exercise. Ngayon, dito sa impeachment, ang gusto sana namin ay nasa krisis tayo, naghihirap yung mga tao. Pero bakit itong Kongreso, instead na ayusin itong mga taxes nito, imbes na gumawa ng mga bagay-bagay para maibsan ng kahirapan ng mga tao, ay puro politika, pamumulitika ang ginagawa nila dyan. Okay? Pwede bang itigil mo na yan, mag-focus tayo dito sa, kunwari, itong bat na ito, pagtanggal o pag-reuse, para kaagad-agad ay mabawasan ng paghirap mga kababayan natin. Kasi ganito yung ating gobyerno, nagpalabas nga, sabi ko, ng state of national emergency, energy emergency. Pero ang nito, kulang emergency na nga, national crisis na nga So, pero parang lumalabas to, parang optics lang yung Executive Order 110 na yan. Kasi hindi naman nabawasan yung presyo ng mga langis. Diba? So, ang gusto na sana natin, dahil nasa batas naman yan in case of talagang crisis or emergency, pwedeng kontrolin ng gobyerno, bawasan yung mga presyo na yan. In fact, pwedeng talagang hindi susunod yung mga oil companies. Nasa batas din yan na pwedeng temporary takeover ng government yung mga oil companies na yan Nandun naman yun pagka ganitong crisis o emergency.
Nagpasa na nga, general ang Congress actually ng batas sa excise tax na hindi naman na-implement sa diesel and gasoline ayaw ng Malacanang tapos yung sa yung sinasabi yung takeover, sinabi na rin ng Malacanang they don't want to take over kasi baka nga daw ma-spook yung mga investors. Ano pa kaya ang pwedeng gawin? Ang pinupush ngayon yung VAT Ano pang nakikita nyo na pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno natin?
Ang mangyayari kasi dyan, of course, to the advantage of the government, na hindi i-reduce yung reduce o tanggalin yung VAT or excise tax. Dahil malaki nga, windfall yung ating, yung kinikita nila dyan, ginagamit yan, maaaring gamitin. Sinasabi nila sa mga ibang project ng gobyerno, pero mangyayari dyan, pwedeng gamitin yan sa ayuda, okay? Ang problema sa ayuda kasi, na hindi naman lahat nabibigyan ng ayuda In fact, ginagamit din yan, yung mga implementing agencies ay kinukurap din nila yung a big chunk of those ayuda na ibigay sa apat sa mga tao. So, ang solusyon talaga dyan ay, of course, itong galit na lang yan para mabawasan naman yung presyo talaga. Substantial decrease of oil prices. Kung tanggalin yung mga VAT at saka itong excise tax na yan.
Okay.
Um,
Sir, may ba rin
General,
ako?
you
Go
you,
ahead, go
you
ahead.
say that you're not political, that your group is not political, but we're having the reason that Ed is asking is because there are some instances when you also weigh in on political issues. No, for example, your group filed the uh, injunction petition for injunction to force Malacanang to declare the quote unquote serious illness of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. That was just this week. You're also asking him to undergo a hair follicle drug test to determine substance abuse, which obviously has you've heard that from partisan groups already. So what do you think about that? Isn't
Yeah.
that political statements as well?
No, it's like this. Of course, we filed a petition to the Supreme Court for a writ of mandamus to compel the executive department to state the true, real state of health, physical and mental health of the president, as so required under the Constitution. Okay. That might be a political, exercise or activity or, initiative, but it's not a partisan political activity. That's the difference, di ba? Ang sinasabi ko, while UPI may be a political organization because we're composed of, various citizens of various, affiliations or, denominations, but we do not participate in partisan political exercises. Yun ang difference na sinasabi ko. And we
What
consider
about the drug test?
filing
Where's that coming
mandamus
from?
as non-partisan yun eh. It's non-partisan yung pag-file namin sa
Okay. Okay. So you're a concerned citizen wanting to know the true state of the president's health. But what about the drug test, sir? Where did that come from?
No, kasi nga, yung kasing hiningi natin sa Supreme Court ay hindi lamang physical, health, kundi mental health. Of course, sinasabi kasi kapatid ng ating Pangulo na yun nga, ina-accuse siya ng, drug addiction. So, maaring yung kanyang mental ay apektado dahil doon sa accusations na yon na siya ay nagtitik ng drugs. So, kasama yon sa aming petition sa Supreme Court, physical as well as mental health ng ating Pangulo.
General, hindi kayo na-convince na nag-jogging si Presidente saka nag-jumping jack doon sa Malacanang. Nakipaghabulan sa mga reporter.
Nakita naman namin, okay naman yun. At least napatunayan na hindi naman pala naka-confine, hindi naman pala serious ang illness.
Yeah.
Okay yun. Kanya
Kaya
lang, ang sinasabi dito ay hindi lamang yung physical, kundi yung mental niya, mental condition. Dapat may medical opinion from his doctors para official yung mga declarations na physically and mentally health siya. Yun ang hinihingi natin sa Supreme Court.
Okay. Well, sir, speaking of health issues, the National Security Advisor has resigned supposedly because of health issues. Ano pumalit sa kanya si General Oban. Your reaction to that? What do you know? What have you heard with regard to the retirement of General Anyo and the assumption of into office of General Oban?
Okay, noon pa narinig na namin yan na magre-resign daw si General Anyo, the National Security Advisor, pero hindi daw tinatanggap yung kanyang resignation. Tapos meron din lumalabas na mga balita na parang meron pang iba na mga magre-resign ng mga cabinet. Hindi natin alam kung totoo yun o hindi, pero yun ang parang lumalabas sa mga bali-balita dito sa ating mga chat groups.
With regard to what issue, sir? May iba pa magre-resign dahil sa...
Yung sinasabi na, I cannot confirm that now, but yung mga lumalabas dito sa mga chat groups, yung mga sa grapevine na umpisa pa lang daw yan, si Anyo pa lang daw ang mauuna, parang ganun.
Oh.
Pero I don't have confirmation
Yes, sir, I understand. Pero kasi you're speaking about you're talking about what you're seeing in the chat groups. I suppose these are military related chat groups and chat threads. May indicators po ba kung ano yung issue na pinagtatalunan doon sa bakit may mga magre-resign na iba? Ano raw yung dahilan o ano raw yung issue?
Wala namang specific na dahilan. Of course, narinig natin na ang specific na dahilan ni Secretary Anyo ay ang kanyang health condition.
Kalusugan. Opo.
Alam na
Opo.
ng natin, COVID eh. So, sa kanya, specific yung health issue niya, pero all the others na sinasabi nila na maaaring may susunod pa, ay wala namang binanggit kung anong mga reasons nila.
Mhm.
Wala naman kayong balita, General, na it's related to his ties to former President Duterte. Kasi actually, lahat naman ng cabinet, they submitted their courtesy resignations on orders of the President. Kaya actually lahat nag-iintay lang ngayon kung tatanggapin o hindi yung resignation nila eh. Pero si General Anyo, na iintriga siya noon na malapit daw siya kay President Duterte, kaya baka matanggal siya. Yun lang naman yung haka-haka dito sa issue na to.
Yun na nga, maraming haka-haka. No? In fact, hindi lamang
Oo.
si Secretary Anyo ang malapit kay Duterte, pati nga si General
Yeah.
Galvez. Kasi dati silang cabinet.
Yeah.
Charlie Galvez.
Oo nga. Yeah.
Duterte.
Mm.
Pero kung yun ang reason nila, dapat noon pa. Bakit ngayon lang? So talagang sa akin, personally, hindi naman siguro dahil doon kay Duterte sila o hindi. Kundi for other reasons na hindi natin alam.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one last question for me, General. Balikan ko lang yung issue about whether you're political or not. I just remember that you were charged with inciting to sedition. Kamusta na yung kaso na yun? And secondly, weren't you charged for saying that the president is a thief and a drug user? So again, I'm coming back to the point now. You're saying you're not political, and yet these are very political statements to make, especially since, you know, I mean, I don't know if you have any, but do you have proof that he is actually a drug user?
Ganito, yung aking case, of course, andyan pa rin yan. I'm on bail. Ngayon, yung wala naman talaga tayong proof na gano'n. Sinasabi lang natin, ang lumalabas doon sa sinasabi ng ating Senator Aimee, ng kapatid na Pangulo, na inaakusahan ng Presidente na drug user. Yun lang naman ang ating basehan dyan. Wala namang, even si Senator Aimee yata, base doon sa nababasa ko, ay wala naman talaga siyang firm na evidence na gumagamit nga siya. Pero dahil nga siya nagsabi kapag siya, so pinapaniwalaan ng mga nakapanood ng mga taong bayan. Ganun lang yun.
Kaya nga, sir, I mean, wala pa pong proof, and yet you were quoted in interviews as saying that he was a drug user. So that, to me, is very political. And as you said, Senator Aimee hasn't presented proof either.
Hindi, as an ordinary citizen, ito nga, we are free to express our own personal. Yung aking kasi, hindi naman ako nag-incite to sedition na talagang nag-aalok, nag-uudyok ng pabagsakin ng gobyerno o mag-armas o maging violente. Wala namang ganoon. So sa akin, sa aking mga lawyers, hindi naman talaga ako guilty doon.
Sorry, you were quoted before as saying he was no longer fit to be president.
Yes.
But that is not inciting to sedition?
Ay, hindi inciting to sedition. Sedition is you urge people to take up arms, you urge people to bring down the government. Walang ganun. Okay, anyway, kung pwede, wag na natin discuss yan. Those are legal kasi. Okay? Pwede lang. And nakapile na kasi. So, let us just leave it on that. In court na lang bahala doon.
Okay, maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon, Retired General Romeo Poquis. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, General.
Sa inyo na.
Just a bit of background, si General Poquis was arrested in January of this year.
I remember. We covered
this.
this.
Of inciting to sedition.
Yes, and I remember he was quoted as saying that at a rally that UPI organized. That's why I kept coming back to the point about not being political. Those are very political actions to me. But clearly he disagrees, so we'll leave it at that.
Okay, and also joining us this afternoon, kami naman tayo, Professor Ranjit Rai, ang presidente po ng Octa Research. Magandang hapon, Professor Rai, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon,
Professor.
everyone.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon to all our televiewers. Thank you for inviting Octa Research.
Hi, sir. Kami naman tayo. Ang inyong survey from March, 1,200 respondents, almost 7 out of every 10 Filipinos want the VP to undergo the impeachment proceedings so that, I suppose, to clear the air of all
Trial,
the issues being...
actually, trial.
Yeah, to clear
Yes, yeah.
all the issues that he is facing. Interesting lang kasi 7 out of 10, tapos almost 3 out of 10 disagree. Kumbaga, ang liit ng undecided, 3% lamang ang undecided. 69 versus 28 versus 3. So, I suppose it's a clear indication of very, 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 very
Polarized, no?
linyado.
Polarized and very...
Wow.
yeah, but we have to understand that 69% of our kababayans, our adult Filipinos, want a process to continue, want the impeachment trial process. Yeah, am I okay?
Yes, sir.
Can I be heard?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
But it has to be understood, no? That this is not an apathetic public. When you look at the report, which all of you have, it's 87% are
Yeah,
aware
aware.
of complaint. They may not be aware of the details, and we were very clear in the report there. So it's a highly aware and engaged public. What the data means is that it does not mean that it's automatic support for removal.
Yes, yes.
Okay? It reflects a demand for accountability, but it also reflects a demand for due process. We have a sub-study for this, but we can't release it because it's there's a subscriber to it. No, we cannot release it. But the gist of that study, if I may say, is that some supporters are actually seeing the process as a way to clear her name. So when you look at the data in that other probe in Mindanao and in Central Visayas, they're looking at it as not as a mechanism for accountability, but as a mechanism for due process and a tool or platform for her to clear her name. So 69% is essentially saying, bring it to a proper trial, put together, don't prejudge it, but don't ignore it either.
I was going to ask you about that. Nabanggit niyo yung Visayas and Mindanao. It's interesting na pinakamataas yung approval of the VP facing trial sa Visayas.
Yes.
O higher than in Metro Manila.
Yes.
Tatanong kita, ano kaya yung dahilan doon?
I think, this has been a big debate this whole morning, no? Some of the academics have come to me, and this is within a context where other survey companies have come out with the different finding, but it has to do with framing and how people understand the question. For everyday Filipinos, trial means something that deals or is associated with fairness, an opportunity to explain the process. So for some people, they understand the question that way, which is very different from the framing, let's say, of other survey companies, which focused on the removal. So everyday Filipinos are clear. We want the trial to continue, but we're holding. Okay, we're not making any decisions about the outcomes. We're not yet sure about removal. So it's pretty clear that that's one way to interpret it. And it's 87% awareness, 69% want the trial to continue. And when you go down to the radix, the roots of it, 77% of young people, those who are millennials, I should say Gen Zs, are very supportive of this process. So that's the big picture, no? It's a structured. I think it's a demand for accountability at one level. It's also a demand for due process. And while different companies will have different ways of framing the question, here in Octa, this same question we ran last year. First quarter 2020. was 78%. It's
Yeah.
gone to 69, but it's still relatively high.
Yeah. Prof,
Hmm.
that's exactly what I was going to ask you because we were talking about this on the sidelines of an event, which is the importance of the framing of the
Yeah.
question. Talk us through what you did differently there because there have been other surveys that ask more or less the same question pero malayo yung numbers nila sa inyo eh.
Kasi, yeah, but actually, when you look at their questions, completely different. They're talking about, for example, the outcome. We're just talking
Mm.
about the procedure, no,
Mm.
the trial, no. So some of the other questions that we were accessible to from other companies is, do you want to impeach, no? Do you know the case in detail? So, generally speaking, most Filipinos would probably say no to those kinds of questions because the more you don't know about the case, the more likely you will not cast judgment, no, whether to impeach. So it's the framing is more new, is in our view at least more accessible to all types of persuasions, whether you're pro Duterte, anti Duterte. You think that giving her a platform to clear her name is always something positive. So or something that you have a way of answering. So they're saying yes to a procedure, but they're not saying anything beyond that. Okay, so there's no position to remove her. There's no,
Mm.
a statement saying she's convicted. They just want a process where she can, number one side of the spectrum is saying let's hold her accountable. The other side is saying let's give her a platform to clear her name.
Sir, himayin ko lang yung yung mga regions, yung mga results coming from the regions. Interesting lang kasi na so wonder if you have any notes here kung bakit ganun ang ibang regions. For example, looking at Northern Mindanao, ang taas niya, 91% want her to undergo the impeachment trial. Also Caraga region 13, 80%. Di ba? These are significant numbers. Versus, for example, Region 9, Zamboanga area, 34% lang. And I think Region 12 is Soc-Sargen, 38%. 34 in Zamboanga, 38% ang Soc-Sargen. So what do you think are the reasons for this huge disparity dun sa Mindanao regions as far as this survey is concerned?
Well, I guess it's also how people in certain areas, in different areas, are accessible to certain information. No? So when you cross-validate this with Class E is less informed, and you'll see a greater variance. It's also in the report. No? So A, B, Class ABC and Class D are very clear. They want large majorities want a trial to happen. Want accountability.
71 versus 72 versus 54. Yeah.
But when you look at Class E, no, there is a variance. No, it's much lower. There's a bigger section of that class that is against it. So one way to explain this, how people are able to access information, how people are able to understand it, and respond to a particular question like this. So those are possibly some of the ways to explain the framing of the survey, and of course the time frame. I think to a great extent when you understand that 87% know that it exists, this impeachment process, a lot of people would like to know more about why this is happening. How do we hold the person accountable? For those who are her supporters, they're saying, yes, she should face trial without actually saying that she should be removed. No, so it really is a product of how people respond to the question. Now, as to why for certain areas, this is really hard for us to explain at the moment. No? But what's important to know that when you look at Mindanao in general, it's around 60%. Who are saying yes to her, no? That now in the other probe, the sub probe that we have, that is supposed to be part of this also, but it's not commissioned. But it's commissioned, I should say. We're seeing that many of her supporters, when you look down at the level of supporters, they're seeing the trial as a platform for her to clear her name. So this is how they're responding. So that's one way to explain. But I can't explain it on a provincial level. But by and large, when you look Duterte supporters, they're seeing it as a way to clear her name. Many of them believe that this is politically motivated. Many of them believe that she can clear her name, and that once and for all she should be given the opportunity to do so. So put them all together at the national, at the big picture level, 69% of our kababayans want the trial to happen.
Mhm. Sir, I'll zoom into, for example, Region 11, the Davao region. Interesting din yun kasi it's Davao region eh. 61 for the trial to proceed versus 38. So I guess this also explains what you were saying kanina na people don't necessarily see this as are you pro or anti-Duterte, more of do you want things to move forward so that magkalabasan.
There are two elements. One is accountability, and the other one is about due process. So people are appreciating it differently depending on where they are. So for those who are pro-Duterte supporters, they're seeing this a mechanism, a platform that should be provided for the vice president to clear her name. So this is what the sub-probe is also showing us. And that same sub-probe is also telling us, so many other things about whether if she's convicted and all that. But we'll give that in another report, no? But this is still very important finding. Moving forward.
Prof naman, may cliffhanger pa.
Yeah, I can't talk about that part, but but it's so illuminating how strong her base is, and how they see things is very different from let's say how others in Balance Luzon and the NCRC. The same question is appreciated very differently. So but I think
Pero yung sub-probe, Prof, yung sub-probe, nilinaw ba dun sa mga respondents na the VP does not recognize the jurisdiction of the House?
Walang legal technical, ma'am.
Malinaw ba yun?
Ma'am, wala ako for the regular respondent for the average Filipino, ang hirap ko this was a very hard probe to conduct kasi there were questions. So it wasn't very technical. We shied away from technical terms. We shied away from asking them, do you know the nitty-gritty about the case? We just asked them, should she be given a chance? And the question is there to clear her name, basically, through an impeachment trial. And because they appreciated a trial differently from, let's say, a more punitive, accountability type question like the impeachment, they must have appreciated the question differently. And then we did the sub-probe, and we found out, pro-Duterte supporters appreciated the question very differently from those who were not associated with or not identified as pro-Duterte. Now, how do we do that? Because we have another probe. This is open to yung definition mo, yung political preference mo, whether you're pro-Marcos, pro-Duterte, or associated with the traditional opposition, or you're undecided. So here's what we're seeing also. Now we're going to come out with that report, and that's for the public to see also. There's an increase in those who are associating themselves with the traditional opposition. There's a slight decrease in those who are saying they're undecided.
Slight decrease from 30 to something like 26 or 27. It's negligible, actually. Undecided is equivalent to independent, because there's got to be a huge
undecided, they're independent
there.
Very good. So independence.
Okay. And you're right to point out it is a platform for accountability naman talaga. It's not supposed to be to gauge whether you're pro or anti, but it is a way for her to get due process, is what the congressmen have been saying all along. But Prof, talk us through the age demographics here. May epekto ba yun sa mga sagot, or it doesn't really matter?
Well, we don't have an analysis of it. We just have a breakdown at the moment. And what we're seeing is it's a high awareness and a very strong support among the greatest number of voters, that means from 18 to 34, and so that's what we're seeing now. It's above it's about 70%, no? So so there's
younger.
class dynamics, no? And there's a very strong youth factor. They probably get all the information from the television.
Social media.
Yeah, they're the most supportive of this due process, this mechanism called impeachment, no? 77% for 18 to 24. So this is my interpretation. This is not cynical. They're not disengaged. They want these institutional processes to work. And even at the urban divide, no, may 75% of the rural folks said yes, in terms of awareness, no, and in terms of support, I should say, and sa urban setting, 63%. So it's not just Manila; it's the whole country is involved at some level. So the big picture is, Filipinos want this process to continue. They're not rushing to judge, but they want this process to work and to continue. So I think that's what 69% of Filipinos supporting the impeachment process means as far as the Octa study, first quarter of 2026 means.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung patikim nyo kanina, yung teaser ninyo na you said kasi you noted an increase in the
It's okay, it's just us anyway.
you've noticed a decrease in the undecided, a slight decrease from 20-something to 30-something.
From 30% to I can't be so clear about the
Yes,
data
sir.
at the moment.
Yes,
Something
I
like
understand.
25% now. And they moved, there's some increase because you have to ask yourself where they went.
Yeah.
So they went to nagkaroon ng konting increase sa mga sa pink and yellow support, no? Those who identify themselves with that
That's
movement.
by how
And then,
many percent more or less? Not a hard number. I'm just trying to tease it out of you.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm willing to say it, but I don't have the data at the moment. But the
You're willing to
increases
say it?
happened,
Okay.
yeah. The increases happened with those who identify themselves as part of the traditional opposition and the pro-Marcos. So that's it. Those are the two areas that benefited this quarter from from that shift. Because
Yes,
you have
sir.
to ask yourself where the undecided went naman. So they went to these two
Pero sir,
places.
pinagsama niyo yung Pink and Pro Marcos or magkahiwalay pa rin sila?
They're separate.
They're separate,
They're
okay.
separate. So when we
Hiwalay.
compare them with last quarter, there are slight improvements in the numbers. So, and of course, the observation that the undecideds went down. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Si-
the
si- si-
product that is the same pa rin.
Si Edo nang iintriga.
Hindi, actually,
this?
hindi ba?
Uniteam
May
2.0?
dadating na
Clarity.
Actually, merong medyo significant drop in the ratings of the Vice President. Sa inyo ba yun?
Hindi pa. We're releasing it pa tomorrow. Kaya na po
We will have you back
Tignan nyo
tomorrow.
naman kami.
Hindi ko muna dadaldal. O sige, wag muna.
We're
merong
supposed to release
nagkaroon
tomorrow
ng
or
medyo-
Monday. We're still
Merong
looking at
nagkaroon ng significant
Kami talaga, embargoed
increase
nga.
sa ibang grupo.
sa ibang grupo
Yes.
siguro yan, ma'am. Hindi pa natin ginagawa yung report.
Medyo significant yung numbers na yon, ha? Hindi
Yeah,
lang
but,
ng ganyan.
but ma'am, abangan nyo lang yung amin report. And
Ayan na.
so all of these are all consistent naman with what we're finding. And then this week we'll try to come out with the preference. But for the first time, we're probably going to publish something. The big chunk
This
of
is presidential election preference.
for 2028. A big chunk of the surveys commission, but the parts that we can now share are quite telling. No? For example, the vice president's numbers went down for the first time in 4 quarters.
Yan na nga.
Okay. No, this is for 2028 preference.
Yeah.
Then the number 2 is not anymore a universe away. Okay. The number 2 person is now just what? 9 between 9 to 12 points away na. So yung gap nagnarrow na po. And just in 1 quarter. So we'll come out with a more systematized report next week na siguro, ma'am.
Sir, when you say yung number 2 should I guess who that is?
So yeah,
How
it's
many
VP
syllables?
Lenny. Yeah, I mean Mayor Lenny. Mayor Lenny's gap with the vice president has narrowed.
9 to 12 percentage points difference na lang.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So this is what's happening, and these are significant changes because her numbers hardly changed for a whole year. She's been, been stagnant.
Yes, sir.
Not
Yes, sir.
moving.
Pero sir, for reference lang, para may clarity tayo, kung 9 to 12 percentage points difference lang for your last survey, the previous survey, ano po yung gap noon?
That was double digits. Yeah, I mean it was double digits for most of the year, for most of 2025. For this for Mayor Lenny in particular.
Sir,
Pero hindi kaya dahil sinasabi lagi ni Lenny, she's not interested in running. Consistent siya doon.
Yeah, I know. Kaya we're wondering also what happened. She didn't do anything last quarter, except for that, very, that visit, that the president made.
Yeah.
Medyo
nag-high profile yung mga bisita sa kanya.
Siguro, kay President, President Marcos visiting her in, in Bicol.
Naga, yeah.
Was the only big event actually that happened, but it could be a confluence of other factors. We have to study.
Yeah. So you have to ask as well whether is she gaining supporters or is the front runner losing supporters?
That has to be determined. Yeah, but I think to a great extent she's gaining supporters. I don't know if it's because supporters of the front runner, which is the Vice President Duterte, is moving out that very much.
And freeze.
Sir, sorry, we lost you there, and that was the juicy part. Sir, can you hear us?
Basta bumaba, maniwala ka sa akin.
Ito, si Professor
Bumaba
nagpatikim,
si
tapos
VP.
nilaglag tayo. Okay.
Kasi embargoed, Ed. Embargoed pa until tomorrow and next
Embargoed,
week.
pero he's talking about it already. So, whatever we're gonna do, close our ears.
Bumaba si VP,
Kanya-
nakasahan niya.
Ayan niya, I think he's back. Is he back,
Tingnan niya.
Professor
Baba siya.
Ranjit? Wala pa.
Noise na.
Oh, may oras pa tayo.
Ayan na siya.
Prof, teka, yung
Ayan na,
juicy
balik,
parts,
balik.
yung juicy parts
Ayan
na
na siya,
pinatikim mo
nandiyan
sa
na
amin
siya.
tapos hindi namin narinig. So, can you go
Okay,
back?
what we're basically saying is that she gained, no? Si Mayor Lenny gained a lot in this quarter, nearly double digits, and so we're still studying why. And again, Reg is correct. It could be a confluence of other factors. But rest assured, we're going to release the report. Give us some time because we're here part-time in Okta. Alam mo yun?
Yes, sir, we understand. Yeah, yes, sir.
We have a schedule of releases. And so next week we'll release that. And we'll
But the big
Give it to us
question,
before Philstar,
but sir, the big question, of course, the big question where you got cut is where is she getting the numbers from?
Yeah, that's actually we have to really study. Don't worry, Ed will come out with a report and see where it's coming from. And one has to see this from the long view, and the long view is that her numbers have improved. She was always number 3 ever since. Now she's the candidate after the vice president with a very competitive preference rating this quarter. And why it's important, because the gap has narrowed from what it was for the last 3 or 4 quarters. And so I think that's the big news. No, but of course there are people in that list that are also competitive. There's Rafi Tulfo, there's Erwin Tulfo, there's Mayor Isko, who's consistently been there. There are newcomers in the list, John Vic Remulla, for vice president in particular, si General Torre. There's always Risa, and of course, let's not forget Bam Aquino. No? So these are people who are resonating as far as the preference survey is concerned, and we'll come out with a report next week. So let's see if we can come out at least for Mayor Lenny and VP Duterte. And let's be clear, the vice president still leading the surveys. The gap has narrowed, and it could be because of so many other factors: the impeachment. the yellows gaining during that period where the survey was conducted. These are not predictive. This is just preliminary. And I think the major conclusion here is there's no narrative of invincibility or inevitability as far as the vice president is concerned. And given that there's an impeachment,
Wala.
she might take a
Okay.
hit, no? So these preference numbers might change.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yun sana
So these
itatanong ko
preference
sa'yo,
numbers
since
might
people
change.
want accountability, sa tingin mo magiging negative talaga sa kanya yung impeachment proceedings
Yeah, she'll
in
take a
the
hit.
House?
Yeah, it's likely that she'll take a hit. But she's still
Mm.
leading the survey.
Yeah, but significant yung actually, medyo significant yung numbers,
Mm.
yung nakita ko.
This week and next week are crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, my internet's really bad. Yeah. So but yeah, the numbers will change, and we'll try to come out with a report. The impeachment process, she will take a hit there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
The numbers. Yeah. Thank you.
Teka, sir, sundutin ko na rin kasi total, nandiyan ka na naman eh. Sorry So you were saying between 9 to 12 points ang difference na lang now between the number 1 and number 2. And you said the previous surveys double digit, but can you qualify yung double digit in the previous surveys? They were in the range of what to what? Kasi 9 to 12 is still double digit, of course, di ba? But to what degree in double digits in the previous? I'm trying to look for the previous ones, pero I'm medyo bagal yung net eh. But you might remember.
Sir, we did the last surveys were all commissioned. This particular part of the survey, our survey was nobody commissioned it.
Okay.
So we're able to
So you're free to release it.
Yeah. And so I don't have the actual numbers now, but what Professor David has been saying to me is that these numbers, particularly of the Mayor Lenny, have improved significantly, and that it's improved to the point that the gap between Mayor Lenny and the front runner, which is the vice president, at this point has narrowed. No, and when I say narrowed, when you look at the margin of error plus minus 3%, no, that's between 9 to 12. So this is the gap that has narrowed over just a short period of time. Now it could be the factors that could have influenced it. Could have been the impeachment. Could be the consolidating of the vote of VP Lenny, the movement supporting her. We also have to understand that the third placer now, Senator Tulfo, also announced he wasn't going to run. So there's just so many factors. Let's see if this continue. But what I'm saying is that the impact on VP Duterte of this impeachment process is going to be largely negative. And so that might influence the second quarter numbers.
Okay.
Tama na, na-scoop nyo na eh.
Sige. Sir, balikan ka namin bukas.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Patricia.
Professor Ranjit
Thank you.
Ray, ang presidente po ng Octa Research. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Sport parati itong si Professor Ranjit eh.
Thank
Kahit
you,
makulit tayo eh.
Professor. Yeah.
Okay. But
I'm looking. I know the question that you keep coming back to, Ed, and I was looking for it as well. But there are other surveys that found the gap between the front runner and the second place for presidential elections 2028 is at 27 points. Dati.
but
This
those
is
were other
other
survey
surveys.
firms.
I'm not going to quote it. Hindi ko pa mahanap yung sa Octa, the latest numbers. But
Kasi sabi ni Prof. Ranjit, yung the previous presidential preference surveys were commissioned, which means that they might not have released it publicly. Baka third party.
No, they didn't release it.
nangyari.
No.
So, kaya medyo nangangapa tayo dun sa by how much ang changes eh. Although sabi nga niya, these are significant changes and the numbers are more competitive now for the second placer.
Yeah.
So that's as far
Because
as we
the
can
gap
go right
of
now.
9 points is within the realm of, possibilities. in terms of
Yeah,
I guess that's what he was saying as well. It's not so insurmountable
yeah.
anymore.
And it's also
Pero
interesting to point out kasi na si VP Sara's already declared her intention to run,
exactly,
but the second
exactly.
placer has not. Or the not second placer,
Mm.
the
In
second
fact, the
ranking.
second placer keeps saying she's not
She's
planning to
not
run.
exactly.
Oo.
Mm.
Yun,
Um,
opposite siyang dalawang yan.
yeah,
Okay.
Kaya
that's
maganda
that's
yung
one
kung
thing.
ano yung resulta.
That's one thing, and yet on the other hand, as Professor Ranjit also pointed out, may mga optics that keep her
Ah,
in view, right, of the national consciousness. Case in point, President Marcos visiting her.
saka ano
They
yan,
were
meron siyang
inspecting some.
endorsement power. It's an endorsement power.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Actually, pati
Yeah.
ano there was a
Kasi-
photo that came out of her riding a bus. Nag-viral yan in both positive and negative senses kasi binanatan din siya ng mga critics niya na supposedly it's staged or it's for public consumption. So that may or may
Saka
not have
remember,
helped.
she's a friend of the Vice President, hindi ba? Nag-uusap din sila, pinupuntahan siya. And they never denied na na naman sila, in good terms naman.
Well, at least before.
And-
Before. Kasi I remember nung panahon ni Duterte as president, si Sara would refer to
yan.
Lenny as the fake vice president.
The fake
Yeah.
Vice
Yeah.
President.
Yeah.
So,
Nung
the
magkakampi
dynamics
pa
could have
sila ni
also changed
nung
during that
magkakampi pa
time.
sila ni BBM.
Yeah, yeah. So there's also a question of whether their own base would accept a Marcos Robredo
Yeah.
tie-up in the 2028 elections. I'm guessing many of them won't because ideologically,
both
syempre,
sides.
Yeah, there would be a
magkagalit
pushback.
sila.
Both
But on the other
sides.
hand, kasi there's no, Marcos is not running for president anymore because it's a one-term
Exactly.
thing.
Walang heir apparent
So
at this
walang,
But he needs a
walang
friendly
direct.
successor.
So in
He
other words,
needs a
walang direct,
friendly
walang
successor.
direct Marcos candidate for
Exactly.
2028.
Oo.
But he needs
hasn't,
someone who is not Sara Duterte. He
Correct.
needs someone who is not a Duterte.
otherwise, it's
That
he
will
can.
be his nightmare from hell kapag
Yeah.
Duterte ang pumalit sa kanya.
I mean, that much we can
Yeah.
presume at this point, right? I'm sure there will be hell to pay. But yun nga, the problem is wala pa rin heir apparent si President Marcos. Remember, there was a time when we thought it was going to be General Nick Torre. Tapos, clearly that didn't happen.
May mga nagselos.
Yes, exactly. So he got kicked out. Sorry, he's not gonna like my verb. He got moved to somewhere else.
Oh.
So yeah,
Oh.
yun yung question pa rin, who is going to be the administration standard bearer? Big question at the moment.
John Vic is I think John Vic is feeling the feeling
Si
the
John
waters.
Vic, medyo mababa yung numbers niya. Actually, the same goes with Risa. Mababa yung numbers sila.
Yep.
Pero
Yep.
siya yung from the Marcos administration, no? Currently, siya pa lang naman yung nagde-declare. So we're supposing na meron niyang blessing
Well,
ni President Marcos.
Hindi naman siya nagde-declare, nag-i-indicate pa lang
Tumitingin
siya.
sila ng... No, he said,
Nagsisignal.
although he denied, no? He
Nagsisignal.
denied. He
Nag-i-indicate pa lang.
denied, sabi niya. Hindi siya nag-declare. Clarify na yan. Hindi ako nagsabi niya, no? Tama. Siya yung nagpaparamdam pa lang.
Indicate para lang
Yes.
yung check engine light dun sa kotse mo. Hindi pa
Nagpaparamdam pa lang, oo. Tinetesting nga daw nung administration kung sino yung pwede. Kung sino yung pwede.
And that's why he's more
Siya yung
visible right
unang-una.
now.
Yeah.
Mm,
Siya yung unang-una.
I don't know.
Nagka-problema siya dyan sa war on drugs nila, no?
Amongst other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And then yun nga, he told us on this show, when you were away, that
Yeah.
they nearly captured Atong Ang.
Yeah.
Hindi ko lang natanong, like, what do you mean nearly captured? Why were you a day late? That means your intelligence is not, up to par. And then also, of course, si Attorney Harry Roque is also contradicted what he said.
Yeah.
Attorney Roque said that you can't just come here and arrest someone because obviously you're not an official in this country, in Austria. Pero sabi ni John Vic, no, I'm gonna go and personally escort him.
Yeah, I don't think he
He
meant
changed
naman
his-
that
he
he's going
changed
to arrest
that.
him
He clarified
personally.
that.
Kasi you can't naman go to another country and arrest somebody.
I-escort lang niya.
Oo, escort lang. Kumbaga susunduin.
Oo, nag-clarify siya ulit. The next day, nag-clarify siya.
I mean, I don't think anybody can presume to go to another country and just arrest somebody.
Well, that's what he made it
except for
sound
the
like,
US.
diba?
The US likes to
He
do
was
that.
saying, I'm going to arrest him personally. But of course, he's not a police. He's not a law enforcement person there.
E-escort siguro pareho ni Alice Go. In-escort from Indonesia.
Tapos magpapaselfie rin.
Kaya ganon. Oo. Napahamak tuloy yung ano, yung
And
nag-escort.
then he said that Cassandra Leong was at women's correctional. And then some people told me that's not true. Si Alice Goy nasa correctional. Which means
Pinalaya si Cassandra.
which means he's getting the two mixed up. Di niya alam sino si Alice Go, sino si Cassandra Leong.
Na-detain si Cassandra sa correctional Pero pinakawalan. Na-detain siya.
He told me she was already there, na charged na daw. But that's Alice Go, which we found out later. Okay.
Pinakawalan.
Okay.
Oh.
Mag-goodbye Philippines na tayo. We'd like to say thank you. Ay, bakit? Ano sabi ko? Like to say thank you for joining StarCon today. Hindi sumipot ang ating resident political pundit.
Baka na-traffic.
Sabi mo, resident pahamak.
Ang ating resident na missing in action na si Raul Llamas ay hindi po sumipot ngayong araw. So maraming salamat kay Regina Lay, kay Ami Pamintuan for joining us this afternoon. And join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Ed Lingao Kapred. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.